Good evening. I'm going to start off on the wrong foot. I'm going to go off script immediately, but I don't want you to be nervous because Calvin told me it was okay. I want your help in this. I want to say thank you to everyone at OFN, to the staff, to the consultants, to the leadership, to the board. We're all here because of all the hard work they've done over the past year so that we could be here and we could be together. It's an honor for me to be here at the start of OFN's 40th anniversary conference. And I have to tell you, it's bittersweet to present the Ned Gramlich Award for Lifetime Achievement in Opportunity Finance posthumously to Adina Abramowitz. Zikranam Likraha, may her memory be for a blessing. Adina left us so very unexpectedly last December 13th. Ned and Adina were good friends of mine. OFN asked me to tell you about Ned and the Gramlich Award before I present it to Naomi Clayman, Adina's life partner, wife, and widow. Ned, after a career as a professor, an economist, a public policy expert, and a senior administrator at the University of Michigan, joined the Federal Reserve Board of Governors in the mid-1990s, where he took on primary responsibility for the critical work the Fed did and does in community development. Ned will and should be remembered most in our field for sounding the alarm about predatory lending as early as 2001. He argued behind the scenes and ultimately to his great frustration with Fed Chairman Alan Greenspan to prevent the housing crisis that hit in 2008. One of Ned's primary sources of data was the CDFI industry. Ned worked feverishly in 2005 to protect the Community Reinvestment Act revisions that year from a tsunami-like bank industry effort to gut it. Ned spoke truth to power. Ned made hard things seem achievable. And like Adina, Ned kept the main things the main things. In 2006, after Ned left the Fed, he soon joined OFN's board of directors. Sadly, though, he met with us for just a single meeting in San Francisco before he received a terminal cancer diagnosis. Ned died in 2007. And OFN created this award in Ned's memory to recognize the lifetime legacy of people important to our work who otherwise might not be remembered publicly by our field. I met Adina, I believe, in 1990 at OFN's 6th conference at the 4-H Center outside Washington, D.C. I want you to picture, if you can, an OFN conference that fit in a room probably just a little bigger than this stage, where the 80 or so participants slept in bunk beds in dorm rooms, sometimes 4 and 8 to a room. As we worked together in the early 1990s, Adina also became my spiritual guide, helping my wife Jennifer and me to find our way with and through progressive Judaism. And later in 2019, Adina and I became partners in CDFI Friendly America. In 1996, Adina reached the end of her run as CEO of a CDFI in Camden, New Jersey. She joined OFN to launch a small business strategy for community development loan funds. Now, before Adina, or I maybe should say until Adina, the generally accepted view within the OFN membership was that CDFIs should not engage in small business lending because it is not mission pure. Adina was a radical pragmatist. She knew that CDFI small business lending is mission critical because she had seen it work in Camden. And tonight you need to know that Adina was one of the first people in the CDFI world to lend primarily to BIPOC entrepreneurs. She helped to invent the practice that we now consider so central and so important to our work. And I want you to help me show Adina's impact. So if we can bring the house lights up for a second here, bring them up a little bit brighter if we can. If you work for a CDFI that lends to BIPOC businesses or supports CDFIs that do, please stand up. Let's see you. It's a beautiful thing. It's beautiful. And there's more to illustrate Adina's impact. At OFN, I think it was in 1997, we decided that Adina should start a fee-based consulting business as part of our small business CDFI services. The OFN board, as I recall, was appalled, and it was opposed. They were sure CDFIs would never pay for consulting services. So 27 years later, let's see about that. How many CDFI consultants are here tonight? Let's see. Stand up if you're a CDFI consultant. Let's get a look. Thank you. Now. Please stand up if you are now working or ever have worked for an organization that has hired a CDFI consultant. Let's see. Come on. There aren't many. If you didn't stand up, I just assume you weren't listening, because CDFI consultants are everything. So, can we scroll? Thank you. So Adina did that. And Adina brought transformative new thinking and self-awareness to the CDFI world. In 2002 and 2003, as we worked together at OFN on what would become OFN's Grow, Change, or Die strategy, Adina adapted conventional ideas about organizational development to the CDFI model. She invented an organizational growth and leadership framework that showed us all how to reach for the sky while we kept our feet on the ground. Her organizational development model is foundational to the CDFI industry. She set in motion the collective growth and development mindset that got us all where we are today and will get us where we need to go next. And one more place Adina lives on is in this and every OFN conference. It was Adina who gave it the form and structure that underlies this event year after year. So I want to tell you that if you came to Los Angeles to talk about how we are made for this moment, you need to talk about Adina. In 2006, Adina left OFN to start her advisory firm, Consulting for Change. And in my opinion, Adina was the best CDFI consultant. She pushed her clients to reach higher, to do their best work, and like Ned, to speak truth to power, whether the power was a board chair, an investor, an elected official, a CEO, or a community leader. Earlier this year at CDFI Friendly America's tribute to Adina, many people shared their memories of the personal impact Adina had on them. The confidence she gave to the first generation of native CDFIs by her deep and enduring belief in them. The aspiration she stirred in women leaders in the industry. The role she modeled for queer CDFI practitioners. The hope she shared with the queer child of a CDFI CEO. The paradigm shift she taught CDFI professionals who felt stuck personally or professionally. The relentless way she taught us common sense. See, Adina had a providential gift of showing us all the simplicity on the other side of complexity. The simplicity on the other side of complexity. She helped us all bring impossible goals within reach and then helped us know how to achieve them. I've been in front of OFN conference crowds many times over the years, but tonight is one of the most meaningful moments of my career to present, on behalf of OFN and its members, the 2024 Ned Gramlich Lifetime Achievement Award to one of our most important and most innovative thinkers, doers, and leaders, my dear friend, my teacher, my partner, Adina Abramowitz. Please give your appreciation and love to Naomi Clayman, the love of Adina's life, who's accepting the award tonight in her memory.
We rise, embody-hearted rise, won't be divided, rise, with spirit to guide us, rise.
so many beautiful people here in this room. My heart is touched. Thank you for the work that you are doing to help increase justice in the world. And thank you, Mark, for bringing Adina's spirit into this space tonight. I am so deeply grateful to OFN and its members for honoring Adina with a Ned Gramlich Lifetime Achievement Award. As I'm sure is true for many of you here tonight, working with CDFIs was not just a job for Adina, it was her heart and her soul. 36 years ago, Adina and I met and fell in love in the process of creating a new synagogue dedicated to political, social, and economic justice as part of Jewish values. Now, in that one sentence, you know about 90% of what you need to know about Adina and me. In 2014, we were finally able to be legally married, and the next day, we left for the OFN conference in Denver, joking that that was our honeymoon. And some 1,100 of you wished us Mazal Tov. Congratulations. Adina grew up in an observant Jewish home, and her commitment to living Jewishly was central for her. Unfortunately, her childhood synagogue in the 70s turned a blind eye at best to queer people. It wasn't until she was in college and met and encountered a community that was both gay and Jewish that she realized she did not have to choose. From an early age, Adina realized that her position of privilege, being white, middle class, with access to excellent education and an economically secure family, was hers only by luck of birth. With that realization, Adina's life centered around repairing our country so that all might have the same opportunities that she did. You know, Adina was a glass half full kind of person, as am I. And she was optimistic about the ability for people and institutions to grow toward their full potential. Adina and I were both committed lifelong learners, co-partnering our 3 children who were young teens at the time that she entered our lives, continually exploring the values of Judaism and seeking new ways to apply them to the repair of the world, Tikkun Olam, discovering that we could sing together and learning music together and occasionally leading services at our synagogue. Learning about the lives of trans people and becoming allies at a time when the acronym LGBTQ+ was just LGB. In preparing my comments for tonight, I talked with some of Adina's clients and work associates from before her first CDFI job in Camden, and also with those from her pro bono work in Jewish organizations. I'm grateful to them for sharing their memories and insights, including some of you who are here tonight. It should be no surprise that I heard a consistent story with all with whom I spoke. And here are some things that they said. Adina was authentic, honest, and direct. Faith and work were not separated for her. She believed we were all accountable to something bigger than ourselves. For Adina, justice was giving people a fair shot, allowing them to realize their full potential. Adina had common sense about how to get the mission done. She would ask, is this in service of what we want to do? She wouldn't get caught up in the unnecessary process. Adina was always up for a good challenge, a great partner in thinking through solutions for clients. She wasn't afraid to offer what an organization should or should not be doing. She was not afraid to sit in front of a global board. Adina knew how to take up the right amount of space, recognizing her background and her privilege. She was a no-nonsense person while being deeply respectful of people and communities. Now, prior to her work in the CDFI world, Adina was central to the mission of the Philadelphia Association for Cooperative Enterprise. In the 1980s, the association was setting up owner-operated supermarkets in underserved areas. Its values were to give people a stake in the business, making the workplace center around the workers rather than the investors. Adina was fond of saying, "If I can teach finance to butchers, I can teach finance to anybody." Jeannie Vanderslice, someone who worked closely with her during that time, said, "She was smart and conceptual, but she always brought it down to being accessible. She understood that democracy needs to be linked to material improvement in people's lives." Early in our lives together, when Adina was at the small CDFI in Camden, I told her she was going to become nationally famous. She looked at me in disbelief, but here we are today. Thank you all again for giving Adina this most prestigious award. It means so much to me, to my family, and to our friends. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Mark and Naomi, for honoring Adina's legacy in such a beautiful way and with such beautiful remarks. And thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. It has been a great, big, wonderful, and emotional family reunion, and we've just got it started for the week. I have the honor of introducing something new to the OFN conference. 40 years and we're still doing something new every year. You all know the Gramlich Awards, but this year we're launching 5 new industry awards to honor people and organizations in our extraordinary network. These awards will be presented over the course of the conference. You'll learn more about each one as they are presented, but let me give you a short introduction. First is the Outstanding CDFI Award for an organization that has gone above and beyond in the last 18 months. Next is the Emerging Growth CDFI Award, which honors a small or emerging CDFI that has demonstrated remarkable growth and service over the past 3 years. Our Executive Leadership Award celebrates an outstanding visionary CDFI leader. The Rising Star Award recognizes an emerging leader who has made a significant contribution early in their career. And finally, we have the Adina Abramowitz Impact Award for organizational growth and change. It is my profound privilege to introduce this last award. As you have just heard, Adina was an extraordinary person and a tenacious CDFI advocate. She was one of the first people I met in the CDFI industry, and we worked alongside each other at OFN. She was a close friend to me and a huge inspiration to me both in my career and generally in my life. And I know she was that to many of you out there. The Adina Abramowitz Impact Award captures her spirit, integrity, and style. It embodies the transformational growth and change principle Adina championed and pays tribute to her extraordinary legacy. Recipients of this award demonstrate qualities that were Adina's North Star: adaptability, commitment to community, and lasting impact. Now, Naomi, will you join us again to present the Adina Abramowitz Impact Award for Organizational Growth and Change?
For those of you who didn't know Adina, I hope you've gotten to know her a bit over the last hour. She was a compelling force in her field and with our family, and I am delighted that this award has been named for Adina and her contributions. This award is a true testament to Adina's work in and love for this field. I am honored and moved to stand here now and present an award that captures who Adina was and what she wanted for CDFIs. So I'll end the suspense and share that the inaugural Adina Abramowitz Impact Award for Organizational Growth and Change goes to Coastal Enterprises, Inc., CEI. Based in Maine, CEI both serves the state and partners with other organizations to create impact across the country. Over its 46-year history, CEI has always sought to meet the needs of people and communities with low incomes. For example, it has made more than $15 million in loans to home and facility-based child care enterprises in Maine. This capital has supported the startup of more than 200 new child care providers and helped address a critical child care shortage in Maine. But CEI's Child Care Investment Fund not only finances child care, it also stimulates economic growth in local communities. CEI created the Child Care Business Lab, which offers business training and financial tools to help aspiring child care providers succeed and grow their businesses. CEI's vision and commitment to assist in building stronger, more resilient communities for generations to come epitomizes Adina's mission for facilitating change in rural, urban, and Native communities. Please join me in welcoming Betsy Biemann, the CEO of Coastal Enterprises, to accept the Adina Abramowitz Impact Award.
Thank you so much, Naomi. Hello, everyone. It's great to see you. We are honored and delighted to be the inaugural recipient of this award, recognizing Adina's leadership and commitment to our field. But because our work is very much a team effort, I'd like to ask our amazing current and former staff and board members who are here to stand up, because this really is for everyone. All right. Thank you. Close to 5 decades ago, Ron Phillips graduated from seminary and moved to Waldoboro, Maine with his wife, Suzanne. Though he's a man of deep faith, he didn't become a minister, but instead was inspired by the war on poverty and the civil rights movement to establish Coastal Enterprises on the rocky shores of our state in 1977. At that time, economic prospects were dimming for many Mainers, as automation and later globalization slashed jobs in Maine's forestry, manufacturing, and fisheries industries. Access to a decent livelihood, particularly if you didn't have a college degree, was declining fast. Ron understood that by combining capital and creativity, Mainers could translate their ingenuity and penchant for hard work into economic agency and opportunity, and could do it in an environmentally sustainable way. CEI's first loan was to a small, family-owned seafood processing company in Boothbay Harbor, and the rest is history. Soon after, we added business advising to our services to help entrepreneurs start and grow their business on a strong foundation. But we also realized that while our loans and advice were helping people one by one, to truly make a more just and equitable economy, we needed to address the biases and barriers in our financial system, so began actively advocating for public policies and investments to level the playing field for rural small businesses and for entrepreneurial women, immigrants and refugees, and people of color. Those have been the three legs of the sturdy CEI stool: capital, business advice, and policy advocacy. We then took a place-based approach and dove in to become experts in the sectors vital to the Maine economy and the cornerstones of a climate-resilient future. Sectors like sustainable food systems, fisheries and aquaculture, clean energy, and as you heard, childcare. And soon, we took what we were learning to other rural regions through several financing subsidiaries. Learning from and listening to our communities has long been a core value. It's how we discovered the need for and created interest-free loans so that practicing Muslims in our state who have an entrepreneurial dream can access capital. It's how we developed programming and specialized loans to support the startup of childcare enterprises. Along the way, we've invested in the CDFI field, from helping support the creation of other CDFIs, to serving on advisory groups and boards, to sharing practices about triple bottom line lending and environmental scorecards, and most recently, to investing in the next generation of our field through the establishment of our Justice Fellowship Program. And our 3 Justice Fellows are here at the conference, so I hope you'll get a chance to meet them. Not surprisingly, Adina's fingerprints can be found along the way. Ron knew Adina during his time on the OFN board and admired her for her strong social conscience and because when the going got tough, she leaned in. 2 of our senior leadership team, Keith Bisson and Jen Sporzinski, were fortunate to learn from Adina directly about achieving measurable and equitable results when they participated in the Casey Foundation's Leadership Learning Network. However, we couldn't have done all this without many of you with whom we've worked both in the past and today. This is a very generous and collaborative community and movement. The often used saying notes, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. We look forward to going far with all of you together. Thank you.
This morning, I have the honor of awarding the Outstanding CDFI Award. But depending on how I do, maybe the Academy Awards will call me for 2025, right? Woohoo! I wouldn't mind doing that. So, here we go. Woo! The Outstanding CDFI Award recognizes a CDFI that has gone above and beyond in serving its communities or driving the CDFI industry forward within the last 18 months. The first ever winner is, I'm so nervous, Community Preservation Corporation. Yay. CPC is based in New York City and has demonstrated the exceptional impact, innovation, and leadership that this award recognizes. For example, most recently, the CDFI implemented its Access Initiative to provide funding, education, and resources to address the barriers BIPOC entrepreneurs face in the real estate development industry. One of the main goals of the Access Initiative is to bridge the gap in technical knowledge and skills often that are passed through family businesses or within corporations to help build the next generation of BIPOC developers. Over the 2024 fiscal year, CPC leveraged more than $155 million to finance housing projects with emerging BIPOC developers in New York State. Since CPC launched the ongoing Access Initiative in 2020, it has leveraged more than $600 million to help BIPOC developers finance housing development projects in cities across New York State. Overall, CPC has set a high standard for excellence in our field and has gone above and beyond to serve its community. Would everyone please join me in congratulating Community Preservation Corporation as CDFI of the Year. And if Lawrence Hammond can come to the stage. Thank you. Thank you, Lawrence, so much. Appreciate it.
Well, good morning, everyone. This is indeed an honor and a privilege. I'm Lawrence Hammond, Senior Vice President at the Community Preservation Corp. It's indeed humbling to be here today to receive this honor as the outstanding CDFI on behalf of our CEO, Rafael Sestero. I'd like to just accept this honor and just tell you a little bit about CPC and promise to keep this short. For those of us who don't know us, we're a not-for-profit that finances multifamily housing, primarily affordable and workforce housing. This year, we're actually celebrating our 50th anniversary at CPC, and congratulations to OFN on your 40th. OFN's slogan this year is made by history, made for this moment, and CPC and OFN definitely have a lot in common in that respect. And I guess that many of the organizations represented at this conference do as well. For CPC was founded in New York City in 1974, when in fact the Bronx was burning, when the Daily News, in response to President Ford's refusal to bail the city out of its crippling fiscal crisis, ran an iconic headline, "Ford to City, Drop Dead." Each year, between 20,000 and 30,000 rental units were being lost to abandonment, fire, or demolition, and communities were suffering. Our mission was to start by deploying capital to help restore and rehabilitate housing in order to keep neighborhoods from falling into this cycle of blight and abandonment. CPC has gone from a New York City-based financial institution in the 80s and 70s, branching out to cover the entire state in the 90s, and now as a lender and investor with a national footprint. Over the last 5 decades, we've deployed more than $15 billion to help finance over 230,000 units of affordable and workforce housing in New York and across the country. We are also an equity investor with more than 4,300 affordable units under our ownership and an institution with a loan servicing portfolio of more than $9 billion, primarily made up of rent-regulated and affordable multifamily housing. A lot has changed since 1974. Our housing problems are different, our neighborhoods are different, and ways that we seek to solve those problems have in fact changed and evolved. One thing that has not changed is CPC's mission of working with our partners to help create more affordable, sustainable, and equitable communities. I see a lot of our partners in the room today, and most of these organizations here today were created at points in time when history needed us most to do a job or fill a role that nobody else could fill. Today, in a time of tumultuous political, economic, and financial change, CDFIs are more than necessary than ever. When the COVID pandemic struck, our nation exposed its systemic inequalities in our communities. CDFIs were there. During times of economic recession and uncertainty, CDFIs are there. When natural disasters cut a swath through our communities, CDFIs are there to help pick up pieces, provide capital resources, and help people and businesses back on stable ground. We're also there in good times. It's not all crisis, but the point is that CDFIs are there. We are made by history and made for this moment. There are so many deserving organizations in this room with countless people working every day to make an impact in their communities and in the lives of people who live there. This award is for everybody who shows up every single day. This is for people in this room and for your colleagues who are back home, who put in the work, the blood, the sweat, and the tears needed to make a difference. And with this, I accept this award. I am grateful for this opportunity. On behalf of the CPC, our Chief Executive Officer, Raphael Sestero, our President, Sadie McCune, we accept this award and continue to do the important work that we all do. Thank you so much.
It is my pleasure to announce the award for Executive of the Year. This award celebrates an outstanding executive leader within a CDFI who has demonstrated exceptional vision, perseverance, and leadership in driving capital to low-income communities. The winner this year is Gustavo Lasala from People Fund. Under Gustavo's leadership, People Fund has experienced tremendous growth, with 2/3 of its total impact achieved in just the last 4 years. Since 2020, People Fund has deployed $150 million in loans out of a total of $225 million over its 30-year history. Through Gustavo's direction, People Fund has delivered more than $1 billion in direct economic impact to Texas. This support has helped 5,500 businesses and contributed to the creation or preservation of 23,000 jobs across the state of Texas. Come on, let's give it up. Since Gustavo became CEO, People Fund has grown by more than 66%. His strategic thinking and innovative approach have propelled the organization to new heights, reflecting his deep commitment to the CDFI mission and small business support. But it didn't start with People Fund. Ingenuity has defined Gustavo's career. At Lift Fund, he masterminded the microloan management system, the first lending platform in the CDFI sector, demonstrating his ability to merge financial engineering with mission-driven goals. And his expertise extends beyond the nonprofit world. At Opportune, a for-profit financial services company, he oversaw a rapid expansion, growing from 36 to 85 stores and delivering 20,000 loans per month. That's amazing. And at Axion Opportunity Fund, he redefined the CFO role, helping AOF become the largest CDFI providing microloans in the country. This experience in high-growth environments has been invaluable to his leadership at People Fund. To everything he does, Gustavo brings curiosity, commitment, and perseverance. His success is not just in numbers, but in his dedication to uplifting small businesses and communities through financial empowerment. So please, join me in congratulating Gustavo Lasala as the Executive of the Year. Congratulations, Gustavo.
Good morning, thank you everyone. I just discovered I am an introvert. Peace be with you. I am deeply honored for being recognized among and by so many inspiring leaders. Now, very few things in life are done alone, and this is not one of them. So this recognition represents the efforts of you all and a great team at People Fund. I came to this country in 2002 to get an MBA from the University of Texas at Austin. In 2004, a CDFI gave me the opportunity to stay in this country and apply what I learned. In 2009, there were 10 leaders in this field. Some of them here, some of them gone, that wrote letters to support my green card. And you may ask why I'm sharing this with you. Well, when I graduated, I had only $2,000 in my bank account, just enough to pay for rent and take care of my family until the first paycheck. My wife and I raised 2 kids. We put them in college. And a few months ago, we became US citizens. So this is emotional and personal. Every day I give God thanks for these blessings, and every day I strive to give others the opportunities that you, CDFIs, have given me. This award is a torch. It's a torch that those in my generation received from the giants that founded this CDFI movement. So, brothers and sisters of the CDFI world, let's honor them. Let's make an oath to carry that torch at least as far, as high, and as proud as they did before us. And to those that are next in line, let me leave you something that someone about 2,000 years ago put in a letter, because things comes with sacrifices, right? Let us not grow tired of doing good, for in due time we'll reap our harvest if we don't give up. Thank you, and God bless.
voices are heard and supported. Inclusive Action has fostered deep, trusted relationships with the communities it serves by seeking input from residents, local stakeholders, and partners before launching new programs. And isn't that what it's all about? That's what we all do. We all want to do. We're making sure that the community's voices are heard. In response to the financial needs of street vendors and other micro-entrepreneurs, Inclusive Action launched the CMEA Fund, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Rudy, which provides critical capital and business assistance to help grow small businesses. And its advocacy efforts have led to significant policy wins, including decriminalizing and legalizing street vending in California. Please join, yes, absolutely. What an accomplishment. Please join me in welcoming Inclusive Action's Executive Director, Rudy Espinoza, to the stage. Rudy.
Thank you. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to Donna, to OFN for this, and the nominating committee for this award. This award means a lot to us because all of you that are in this room understand what it takes to build a loan fund and serve our communities. As you heard, Inclusive Action is an economic justice organization. We are a CDFI that specializes in micro-lending. And I want you to know that our lending work, the work that's being recognized today, came out of the wisdom and foresight of street vendors in this city, Los Angeles. That's where our loan fund began. When we were working together to legalize street vending, the vendors said, Rudy, if we ever win, who's going to give us the loan for the cart that they're asking us to have, for the kitchens that we need to have, the commissary spaces? Who's going to give us capital? And we realized that, you know what, they were onto something, that there was no one that was going to give a loan to an undocumented entrepreneur that had no credit, no collateral, and was running an illegal business in this city. Not even some of the CDFIs were willing to do that. And so we thought, you know what, maybe we got to start doing something ourselves. And that was the seed, the CMEA Fund, the seed of what we began to do. So on the way to legalizing street vending here in this city, we worked with street vendors and passed 2 state policies that support street vendors across the state of California, and we created our loan fund. And over the last few years, we've deployed $4 million in microloans. Average loan size is about $10,000, $12,000. And we've deployed another $3-4 million in grants, small business grants, to support those entrepreneurs, street vendors and brick and mortar businesses and other types of businesses in our neighborhoods that can't get capital from other places. We are trying to stay true to what a CDFI should be doing, right? And so this is really important to us. And so one of the things I was talking to one of my colleagues about this award, it has the word emerging. And so we were wondering and reflecting on what emerging means. And for us, it means that we have a long way to go. Last night, my colleague Jesus reminded me that scarcity breeds innovation. As a community, we are constantly iterating. We're always changing. We're always continuously getting better. We're innovators. If you go into the neighborhoods here in the city of Los Angeles or in your cities, you see those people in your community too. Scarcity breeds innovation. So when our communities have a little bit, we start creating, right? Right? Yeah? We start building. We are paving the way towards the future. Even though we don't know how that road is going to look like, we're building. And so I'm standing here as part of our team, and I want to just shout them out here because every single one of them is really important. I'm going to start with our board treasurer, Veronica Saldana, who's here representing our board, Itzel, Jesus, Andrea, our director of lending, Jay, Karina, Nicole, our deputy director. So, you know, this is a subset of the team. I think some of the team is taking care of some other members right now on a community ownership tour too. And our ops team, we've done so much. Our advocacy team doing a really incredible work. But before I close, I want you to know what makes us different. What makes us different is who we are as people and what we bring to the table when we do this work. If you see us walking around or you come to our reception today at 5:30, ask us what brought us to this space. Ask us. Ask us why we're committed to this work. And you'll find in each of our stories that our resume is also stacked with true lived experience. We're kids of immigrants, y'all. We're kids of immigrants. We're survivors of trauma. We're the unicorns that somehow made it through life and to this stage. But you know what? We're not happy that it's just a few of us here. We're just not. And so every day when we go to work, we think about how we're gonna get capital to people that don't have it. How do we bring more people with us on this stage? So for us, this is work about our families, our communities, and it's about justice. So thank you so much for this recognition, friends, and we're just beginning. Thank you.
While the past is important and provide us with the foundation and direction, we cannot live there. We must move forward together. I think it's a fitting end then to wrap up this conference by looking at the future with colleagues who are pushing our industry into new and exciting places. In that spirit, we'll be announcing the winner of the inaugural Rising Star Award, and following that up with a panel discussion among rising CDFI leaders. This should be a fantastic afternoon and a fitting way to wrap up the 40th OFN conference. Thank you for joining us. They kept adding to what I was supposed to say, so that it was supposed to end there, and then now I'm gonna smooth transition, right? The Rising Star Award. So I wanna, before we announce the winner of the Rising Star Award, I would like to talk a little bit about what the award means and its significance. The Rising Star Award recognizes an emerging leader within the CDFI who has shown outstanding dedication and impact early in his or her career. The Rising Star is a leader who has been in the industry for 5 years or fewer and has made significant contributions, demonstrating strong potential for future leadership and a deep commitment to their community. With that said, it is my great honor to award Elissa Sangalli as the inaugural Rising Star. I have a few more things to say. Is that, yeah. But we practice this. No, come back. We practice this. And then we smile. Yeah, look. I do want to say, if it's okay, yeah. Elissa leads Northern Initiatives, a CDFI based in Marquette, Michigan, and she is relentless advocate for CDFIs across the state. She took on the role of president of Northern Initiatives just as the pandemic began. Wow, okay. Yeah, we know that, right? Come on, applause for her. Her immediate focus was building a statewide coalition to strengthen Michigan CDFIs, making them more agile and effective in community investment efforts. If we haven't figured this out, folks, we do better when we're all together. So love that we're a coalition here. Under her leadership, Michigan CDFIs played a crucial role in the Paycheck Protection Program, facilitating $1.5 billion in forgivable loans to small businesses and nonprofits. This effort helped preserve 165,000 jobs, showcasing the significant impact of Michigan CDFIs. Wow. I was gonna say she's been busy, but there's like more, so she's been really busy. Elissa advocacy and partnership with other coalition leaders has helped secure more public support for CDFIs. In 2023, the Michigan CDFI Coalition, led by Sangalli, partnered with the state to create the largest state CDFI fund in the country, totaling $85 million to date. Wow. Yeah. During her tenure, Northern Initiatives has implemented initiatives like the Good Jobs Partnership, a program designed to create businesses that are good stewards of their employees, their communities, and the planet. And under her leadership, the CDFI has fostered a culture of development and inclusion, promoting from within and creating an environment where interns rise to leadership roles. That's amazing. Her efforts, including DEI-focused retreats, have strengthened the unity and mission of Northern Initiatives, empowering staff and businesses alike to thrive and adapt to future challenges. So please join me in welcoming again Elissa to accept the award. Yeah.
I didn't mean to walk out at the wrong moment. Thank you, Henry, for that wonderful introduction. It is such an honor to be here today and to receive this award. I have to say that when Seth called me on Friday to let me know, I was totally blown away, and I want to thank my team that nominated me. I entered the CDFI industry in March of 2020, replacing a very long time and beloved leader at Northern Initiatives. And I'd be lying if I didn't say that I was absolutely terrified when I made that leap. I had been in a different industry for 15 years and built an organization and a team, and I loved where I was, but I really wanted to be in a spot where I could help move money into the kinds of things that we're talking about today, both to create more opportunities for women and people of color, but also to go deep into rural places and especially around climate and the environment. I would never have been able to predict that 2 weeks into my tenure at Northern Initiatives, we'd face the pandemic and that I'd be getting to know a new team remote via Zoom and a new board. And I also would never have been able to predict that CDFIs around the state of Michigan would begin to find each other and that I would be asked to chair and lead our effort together. And I just want to say thank you so much to both of my teams who are here, because this is the Emerging Leader Award. You're not a leader if you don't have people around you, right? People to lead and to do meaningful work together. And so thank you to my team at Northern Initiatives and my colleagues at the Michigan CDFI Coalition. This is really on behalf of all of our work. Thanks.
I always remember his big beard, and to me, I would call him a hippie, I guess, but a very nice guy. I really liked him.
He was an inspiration.
A person who believed and lived what he believed.
Inspiration, organizer, a force for good. All these are words used to describe Chuck Matthei by the people he knew and worked with.
Chuck was an iconoclast. I always knew of him before I met him as sort of the Johnny Appleseed of the CDFI world. And he would go around and meet with people and and organize them.
I went with him a couple of times to do some talking with people. And Chuck used to hitchhike. And I said to him, Chuck, I'm a woman. I can't hitchhike. That's dangerous for somebody like me.
He brought his heart and soul into it in a way that I think was very inspiring to the whole generation of early CDFI folks.
A follower of Gandhi's teachings and a member of the Catholic Workers' Movement, Chuck held deep humanitarian convictions, often critiquing the economic conditions that harm the poor.
He would often quote Dorothy Day, the co-founder of the Catholic Worker Movement, and who said, anything that we have beyond our basic needs is stolen from the poor.
As executive director of the Institute for Community Economics, or ICE, Chuck traveled around the country helping new community loan funds establish themselves.
The Institute for Community Economics was a place where you brought in people who wanted to work together and you did what needed to be done.
Chuck Matthei challenging the question of where does capital come from, and that there's lots of capital out there, and there's lots of capital out there controlled by individuals or owned by individuals or institutions that have a mission value.
Chuck talked about the fact that we were just soapbox orators unless we were managing our own money, that there was something real about managing money.
No one lends money to someone unless they believe in their future. And generally, the people we're working with, no one's ever believed in their future before. And Chuck embodied that. He believed in an extraordinary way in the potential and power of people in community to come together, to work across differences.
It was under Chuck's guidance that the first gathering of CDFIs happened in 1985.
You know, as Chuck said, we'll sink or swim together, but we have a much better chance of swimming together if we can think about addressing issues collectively.
Today, OFN honors the life and spirit of service that Chuck embodied by recognizing the service of those who drive OFN forward.
Chuck hated governance. The idea that you're naming a governance-related thing for Chuck is, to me, ironic beyond belief.
I think Chuck's looking down from heaven saying, before you give anybody an award, I need to interview them.
It's certainly great to be with you all today. That fantastic video introduced a new way to not only recognize and honor what Chuck meant to this industry, but to provide an opportunity for a new generation of leaders to continue to advise and be involved in the care for OFN after their time on the board of directors has come to an end. And we're excited to welcome the inaugural class of the Chuck Matthei Society. I'd like to recognize each person individually for their contributions to the board. Donna Gambrell, Appalachian Community Capital. Donna has served on the board since 2017 and as chair since 2021. David Beck with Self-Help Credit Union. David has been a board member since 2018. Correct? And before. That's right. Betsy Biemann with Coastal Enterprises. And Betsy has been with us since 2018. Marla Bilonick of NowCap. Also, it's 2018 class, man. Also, since 2018 that Marla's been serving on the board. And Robert Villarreal, who is living a good life, semi-retired. No, retired, brother. Who's living a good life, retired, but still very active and a MoFi board member. Robert also joined the board in 2018, my gosh. Thank you, David, Betsy, Marla, Robert, and Donna for your service on our board of directors. And welcome to each and every one of you to the Chuck Matthei Society.